So the Red Sox put on a clinic today on how to win an elimination game, how to win a must-win game. I mean, nobody had, well, with the exception of Giancarlo Stanton, nobody had it. In any other game, he would have had 3 home runs. 2 off the monster today that were a single and a double, and then that last home run there. In any other stadium, would have had 3 home runs today. 3. But the Red Sox took it to him. 6-2, final. And they're moving on against Tampa. The Yankees get to go home, unfortunately. And, Cole didn't have it, obviously. But he was throwing 98, 99, and he was at least around the plate. He got hit. And he only gave up, what did he give up, 3 runs? Obviously too much. He got taken out in the third, but unfortunately, so that wasn't good enough, obviously. But it was just a disaster today. The Red Sox did exactly what we needed to do to them, and unfortunately, they took this loss. And if it wasn't for Giancarlo Stanton, they wouldn't have even made this game. So, and probably wouldn't have even been anywhere near. He and Judge obviously too on the offensive end, but Stanton, to me, that last I don't know, month or 2 of the season, he was the MVP of this team, and it's not even close. Not even close. Okay, and what they need to do, they need to go get Nevin's eyes checked, because in no situation do you run Judge on that. You run Tyler Wade home. It should have been runners on second and third. You don't run Judge. It was pretty clear he was going to get thrown out. Okay, he hit that ball way too hard off the monster. It carried him to the center fielder. They threw it in, and then Bogarts, relayed it in, and he was out. He should not have run Aaron Judge. But nevertheless, it doesn't really matter now. So, Yankees are going home for the postseason. And now it's time for us to strategize and figure out what to do this offseason to put themselves in a position to not have a night like this next year. So, and again, I think Cole needs to have a good recovery period this winter. I'm not sure he recovered from his hamstring injury, to be honest with you, but his velocity was there. He's throwing 99 most of the night, but he was 99 and just off a little bit. And Schwarber it was a high pitch. Schwarber hit it out. And, it was a pitch pretty much right up the middle, just a little low. Bogarts hit it out. If it's his normal Cole and he's up high, he's unhittable with high heat for the most part. But Schwarber, it was high and outside, which is Schwarber's wheelhouse. And a meatball right down the middle to Bogarts. And both of them were like 98 miles an hour. They just got crushed. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Again, the Boston put on a clinic. How to score runs, how to manufacture, how to move guys over, hit opposite field, clutch hit, home runs, singles, doubles. They did everything. And Nathan Eovaldi, the guy whose arm fell apart with the Yankees, got it repaired, went to Boston, and now kills the Yankees. It's just, it could not be more, I don't even know the word. It's not karma. It's just freaking, what the hell, man? Twilight Zone. It's unbelievable. But yeah, the offense, with the exception of Stanton, did nothing. You cannot win a game like this if the guys aren't hitting. Okay? You can't. Gallo hit one to the wall the last inning, but doesn't matter. Had they won one more game in the season, they'd be playing. They wouldn't be in the situation anyway, or it would have been a game in Yankee Stadium or something. It just would not have been this game today in Fenway Park. But it is what it is now. And he got his arm repaired, went to the Rays, and he signed with Boston. And then look what happened. Look what happened. It's unbelievable. Clint, he was getting 99 mile an hour fastball down the middle is going to get hit by. Look at the hitters on Boston. This is not, the Kansas City Royals or whoever, the Baltimore Orioles. This is the Red Sox. Look at that lineup. How in the hell are you going to get through that? So He had 99, but not with a lot of movement, and that's the problem. So it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Now they need to go home. And I keep saying this again. Cole needs a co-ace. He needs somebody right there with him to push him. He can't carry the load for the entire rotation. He can't. Okay, it's not. It's just. It's too much. Okay, and yeah, the last month was rough, John. I mean, I don't think he recovered from his hamstring injury, and unfortunate. I mean, he's got to recover this offseason and get strong. And the Yankees need to pad. They need to add to that pitching rotation a bunch. So, and I knew at some point Severino was going to get hit as well. So, and it happened tonight. Unfortunately, they hit pretty much everybody. I mean, what are we gonna do? It's over now. You know. Yeah, exactly. Yankee Stadium. It would have been 3 bombs today by Stanton, and it's, it was a terribly played baseball game all over the place. And really, really poorly played baseball game all over the place. By the way, folks, can you hit that like button? I want to try to get the likes up. I greatly appreciate it if you don't mind. I'm trying to get it up to like 30 or 40 likes. I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, Nestor would have probably been. I think Cole with another day's rest would have been better. And I think the Yankees should seriously consider going a 6-man. Thank you guys, a 6-man rotation for next year. It can't hurt. Can't hurt. They got to bring in 2 starting pitchers this offseason no matter what. And I'll take that one all offseason. They have to bring in 2 reliable starting pitchers this offseason. They do. They do. Cherry Fire Boone and Firebuck? Buck? Do you mean Higher Buck? My mistake if I Higher Buck. There we go. Okay. Off-season prediction. Well, I'll tell you right now. Not my predictions, but I'll give you a preview what I think they should do. Oh, and by the way, before I do that, they called up Greg Gallen. Why the hell didn't you use him? Why did you not use him? It's fucking, okay. So what I think they should do, Daily. Well, my pitching, Robbie Ray, and a trade for Luis Castillo, or you go Robbie Ray and Carlos Rodon. You invest in pitching no matter what. You invest big. 2 free agents or 1 free agent and a trade. Okay, at the minimum, you bring in another reliever. Michael Lorenzen or Racel Iglesias, one reliable reliever, okay? And then you try your damnedest to trade for Ketel Marte. And you get another, a reliable player who just get a contact hitter. Ketel Marte is a good contact hitter, plays multiple positions. He can run. He does a lot of things. He's had a little bit of low body injury, so yes, that's obviously a concern, but if you can't get Brian Reynolds, you got to get Ketel Marte. Okay, it gives him a lot of options. Okay, and I think they need to move Nevin. They need to get a new third base coach. There's too many foul ups this season with him, and it's unbelievable. I wouldn't say that walk awful. I wouldn't say awful, but not as great. I mean, he was good after the sticky stuff, but he got COVID. He didn't recover immediately from COVID, and then he got a hamstring thing as well. So I'm not really too preoccupied with the sticky stuff. He had a 15 strike. He had a lot of quite a few good games, but he had just as many bad games after that sticky stuff. So I'm not really obsessing over the sticky stuff. So took him like 2 or 3 games to get out of it, and then he was fine. But then again, half the team caught COVID. Like there's a whole bunch of them. It's not a good year for them. But he stunk tonight, Cole. He stunk tonight. And again, he reminds me too? He reminds me of Clayton Kershaw, who was dominant during the regular season and then stunk in the playoffs for like 5 or 6 years in a row. And then this past year was good. This is the only offseason that I remember Kershaw being good. So so that's something he needs to fix. And even though he had a really good offseason last year with the Yankees, he needs to fix some things called this offseason. And again, they need to bring in a co-ace for Garrett Cole, no matter what. No matter what. And Exactly, Daly. Allen would have scored that run. So would have Tyler Wade. But it didn't happen now. Didn't happen now. So, and real shortstop, yeah, and they have to. They need to make two major decisions at first base, and if they're gonna re-sign Rizzo, they got to make him a strong offer right off the bat. And if he turns it down, you got to be aggressive and trade for somebody, or you move DJ over to first base, and that's it. He's having hernia surgery this offseason, and then you move on. You got to move on from Marcus Timms, it looks like, and they might move on from Aaron Boone. We'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. There's gonna be a lot more decisions to be made by the Yankees this offseason. I mean, really, really. You can, Cherry. I mean, you can trade, Gary can be moved. Gary Sanchez can be moved. They need to bring in somebody as well, obviously to replace him, or in place of him. But he can be moved. And he's got a year left. I mean, I'd like Wilson Contreras here from the Cubs, but I don't know if that's possible. But we'll see. Buck Showalter. I mean, as intriguing as it is, I think we're 10 years late on Showalter, but you never know. I can't rule anybody out at this point, so I can't rule anybody out. The Judge and Stanton carried this team this year with the offense. Season is a bust. We need to get more athletic. We need to get more versatile. We can't add more boppers. We need to get more contact guys. We really do. Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, co-ace, man. A stunt. I don't know about that angle. G-angle. Verlander's going to the Hall of Fame. First ballot. Spider Tack. I don't know about that one. I mean, I would disagree. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But he's going to the Hall of Fame. As is Max Scherzer. As is, a lot of other, well, not a lot of other folks, but some other guys. But those two guys are going first ballot. There's no doubt about it. Cullen, I don't know, man, to be honest with you. If you're going to replace Boone, I don't know who's available. Might need to give, one of their AAA guys a shot, or, I don't think that, Joe Madden would be available or whatnot. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know who could replace him at this point. I don't know who's available and who's like, I have no idea. No, I wouldn't say tainted, Chris. I don't think so. No, he's gonna be runner-up for the Cy Young, so I wouldn't go that far. I mean, we got, but again, he got his ass kicked tonight. Bottom line. So that's it. Void for I don't know what they're gonna get for Void at this point. They may even DFA him or release him. I don't know. I hope Gallo's better next year. He's got he's one more year until he's a free agent. Hopefully he plays well next year so they can offer him a qualifying offer and he can move on somewhere else. Need to get younger first. I mean, younger at first would be Matt Olson from the A's. If there's any way they could do that, then oh yeah. Yeah. I get the logic, John, but La Russa hasn't really had issues kind of like with clashing with players for a decade. Buck has, so that's my only fear. But again, Buck could be, the disciplinarian that Boone was not. So I get the logic. I get it. Yeah, and I'm not ruling out Cole. I mean, pitchers get hurt. Sure, a lot of these guys get hurt. I mean, Kershaw got hurt. Verlander got hurt. I mean, it's just guys get hurt. And this year is just, Jacob deGrom missed almost the second half of the year. He's hurt. Aces get hurt, man. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Of course, Marcel, no doubt about it, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna be doing videos and streams and all the stuff leading up, because now I'll be doing some stuff in the playoffs as well, keeping tabs on that, and working on my Yankees off-season plan and stuff like that. And we're going into the CBA, which expires December 2nd, so we need to know what's going to happen. I think free agency is going to be waiting for the most part until, at least the big guys are going to be waiting until the CBA because they have to figure out the finances and a bunch of other things. So I think the big names, for the most part, are still going to be on the board once the CBA, until the CBA is decided upon. So it's going to be a dragged out offseason, this offseason. So I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff coming, but so I'll keep you guys updated on a lot of things. But yeah, so don't worry, Marcel. I got a bunch of stuff coming. But personal changes, yeah, I could see hitting and third base coach. Most definitely those two, Marcel, 100%. Rizzo was fighting. I mean, Rizzo was one of the few guys. He has the intangible. If the Yankees were going to re-sign any of their guys, Rizzo would be the guy to re-sign. Okay, he would be the guy. Oh, Cherry. Oh, that's a good one. Buck Showalter to San Diego. That's intriguing. I could see that. They moved on from their manager. The Mets also declined Rojas's option too. So the Mets need a new manager too. I didn't even think about Showalter to San Diego. Wow. That's a good one. Yeah, Rizzo will get paid. Excuse me, my cat's scratching something over there. Rizzo will get paid, if not by the Yankees, by the Red Sox, by somebody, and he'll be good for somebody. Yeah, I mean, we need a better catching situation, unfortunately. Joe, yeah, Joe Madden. You talking about, Thomas? Joe Madden pinstripes would be nice, but yeah, I mean, honestly, we need that type of honesty and transparency, and stop sugarcoating things from a manager. This is New York, man. The last thing you want to do here is sugarcoat stuff. And again, I think Cole's gonna be fine. Yeah, I think he's an ace, but he sucked today, and you got to be willing to say when he sucked. So he did. The whole team, not all the bullpen, obviously, because they kept him in the game for the most part, but the lineup sucked, with the exception of Stanton. What are you gonna do? They have to hit too. Bruce Bochy, I think he retired from managing, if I'm not mistaken. I think Buck, he might be. I mean, I don't know. He might be an intriguing. It is the Aaron Boone contract year, so they have to decide whether to re-up with him or move on from him. So that's going to be one of the major decisions this offseason. And I agree with you 100%. Kind of lie. They were despicable with Luke Voigt this year. Rushed him back from the disabled list, and he has every right to be pissed. They did not put him in a position to succeed this year, unfortunately. They did not. And once they brought in Rizzo, the situation got even more tenuous. It just got worse. So I liked Rizzo here, but it was really bad fortune for Luke Voigt. Really bad fortune. Now he's got really no trade value. So I don't know what the hell they're going to get for him in a trade if they trade him. So I mean, these are the key decisions: manager, first base, shortstop. Like, there's a lot of key decisions that the Yankees have to make this offseason. They really do, and they need to be smart with it. They need to be aggressive too, and like I said before, they need to be first in some situations. They need to beat other teams to the punch. Freddie Freeman. Hold on. Boone saved this job by getting the Yankees in. Well, Marcel, maybe. I mean, Cashman, yeah, I mean, and I've said this, it's a flawed roster. It's too reliant on certain areas at the expense of other areas. So, it needs to get more diverse. It really does. And 7th best OPS on the 1980 Yankees team would have been 3rd best hitter on this team. Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, Major League Joey. The lineup was so diverse and so deep back then. It was just, that was a flawless team, man. But back to you, Daily Dose. Freddie Freeman in the offseason, maybe. I mean, maybe him and Gallo were going to cost a bit. I think Freeman might get over 100 mil. They're both 32 years old. If I were Atlanta, I'd make an aggressive offer really early on, and if he says no, you move on, because then you have Rizzo as an option too, probably a less expensive one. The Braves will have options. So, and again, they have a top 10 farm that they could utilize to trade for a first baseman too. So, they're in a pretty decent position too. But Yeah, James. I mean, I would make some immediate moves as well. I really, really would. So I don't know when the first day they could do that stuff is. I mean, with your own people, I think it's immediate, but obviously they with free agents, that's not going to happen for until after the World Series and blah blah blah. So um, yeah, 4-9 1 for 20. Simply, yeah, dude, Nevin, highly suspect decisions this season. So several times, and it's no good, man. We need to get more. Um, you know, we need to get better in a lot of areas, and we need to do it quickly. We need to do it quickly. And I think the Tampa Bay Rays I think it's the president of baseball operations. They just gave him a 5-year deal. These guys know when you have somebody good, you lock them up for long term. Smart ass people. I mean, Yankees should be looking at some of the teams like this to see how best to better run this team. I mean, if there's any way they can get Matt Olson, Frankie, he's going to cost a boatload, but I mean, I'd sign up for Matt Olson yesterday. I would. He's an upgrade over every first baseman. So, there's a good chance, Miguel, that DJ will be the first baseman if they don't re-sign Rizzo, and if they let Voit walk, only because with the surgery he's having, he's becoming less athletic, less mobile. So first base is a more logical place to plant him. And that way and then you make sure you have a reliable guy at third and a reliable guy at shortstop throwing over to him on a regular basis, so he's not having to dive all over the place. So because he's not that magician with the glove that Rizzo is. So, and that's something to keep in mind. So you would have to upgrade on that side of the infield, no doubt about it. And guys with strong arms and just reliable arms. You know, um, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of voices calling for Boone to go bye-bye. But before we get there, we have to make sure that we don't know who's available yet. And I don't want the Yankees to do this carousel again you know, of who are we going to do this? Who are we going to do? You have to have an obvious, in my opinion, an obvious candidate or two that might be available or they might have spoken to already or something. Can't just be another, carousel of interviews. Honestly, Mike from the Av, I appreciate the dono, man. Thank you, buddy. What's your question? Who's your ideal manager next year? Again, I appreciate the dono, man. Any donos are greatly appreciated, man. And Chop, we do need a ton. My ideal manager for next year. In all honesty, Don Mattingly. I wish they took Mattingly back then. If they weren't going to move, if they were moving on from Girardi, I was really hoping they were going to take Mattingly. Mattingly's doing a pretty, stand-up job over in Miami with a, team that's very, bereft of high-end talent. I think he could do a much better here. Don't know hype. Yeah, don't know hype for Mike from the Ab. But to answer your question, Mike, Don Mattingly would have been my perfect guy here. And he's a Yankee by heart, Yankee by history, by career. And I want to see him win with the Yankees. I really, really do. You put a better roster. So you surround him with a better team, this high-end team. I think they could do really well under him. I love Don Mattingly. I've always have. But yeah, big dono hype for Mike, man. Appreciate you, man. Get some W's here for some love for Mike from the Av, man. You're the man, dude. I appreciate you. We need a huge offseason, Hoagie. Huge. It's got to be the type of offseason they had before the 2009 season. And it wasn't only those guys. It wasn't only CC and Burnett and Teixeira. I mean, they got Nick Swisher, Damaso Marte for the bullpen. They made a lot of smart moves, man. They really, really do. They really did. And some of them were underrated, man. They really, 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 I mean, that was a magical offseason. They need that type of offseason again. They really, really do. And again, they're playing against different type teams now. So, I mean, you need guys that are going to be able to get past Toronto's pitching, Toronto's batters out, past Tampa Bay's pitching to get get Tampa's offense out. You need these types of guys. So the skill sets you have to look at should be complementary of those types of things that are the needs of not only the team but based on who they're going to be facing on a regular basis. And look at these dynamic lineups: Boston, Toronto, and Tampa. Like, they're dynamic lineups, all three of them. So you need guys that are going to be able to get through these people. Which is why I think two frontline starting pitchers has to be the way. So that we're not putting ourselves in a position like we did this year with the first third of the season. The starters weren't given any length, and then it taxed a lot of the bullpen. And then look what happened. It was just an imbalanced season. Put burden on here, then a burden was on here, then a burden was on there, and there was no balance. And there's no complementing each other, which is unfortunate. So, and I do, yeah, Miguel, I think he was gassed out too, man. I think Cole was gassed. But it's hard to say too because he was throwing 99, but he had 99 with no movement and he got hit. That's it. You don't have movement on those pitches, you're going to get hit by Kyle Schwarber, who's got postseason chops. Like Xander Bogaerts, he's a good fastball hitter. Like, they're going to hit you, man. Same thing happened to Kershaw all these years, man. And I was glad to see him have a successful postseason last year for his first time like 8 with the Dodgers. So I hope the same thing happens with Cole next year and the years after. So I agree. I would take Freeman over Rizzo this offseason too, but I would take Olsen over Freeman if there's a way they can do it. But Freeman's younger, he's better. I think not much younger, but he's younger and he's better. So reigning MVP too. So that's what Cashman's explanation, probably that they didn't put it together when they needed to. It's just going to be some generic, in my opinion, explanation. And I hate that. I really do. We'll get a generic one from him. We'll get a, customized one from Boone. And then I wish I should say, yo, we need to get better, man. We sucked. We didn't have it today. We got our asses kicked. Like, I'd like to actually see them say that, and it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. But that's what I would like for them. And I think a lot of us would like to hear from them. Just some honest transparency. Stanton stands up there and takes the heat when he's cold, and he does it with booze and everything else. And so does Cole, actually. I'll give it to him too. He gets his ass kicked and he takes the heat. But where the hell's Cashman taking the heat? Boone takes the heat more than Cashman. Cashman assembled this team. Cashman needs to be here facing the fire. So does Hal. Hal needs to be here facing the fire. What's the goal for this team? What the hell are you trying to do here? Answer some questions, Hal Steinbrenner, so that we have a better understanding of what your logic is, instead of just us wanting to kill you and throw you guys to the wolves. It's and that's the frustrated me where it comes out, because these are things that it just reminds me of corporate America. It's the people at the top never have to explain the things that they have caused. And I hate that the people at the bottom have to be the front, the sounding boards for these people. And that's not fair. It's not fair at all. So the GM and the president and the owner, they need to be up and speaking. They need to. So, but exactly, James, where the hell was Hal? Exactly. I'm a little behind here. $210 million spent for agent Rizzo. Yeah, we have 2 players. But yeah, man, this is what I mean, Major League Joey. We need a much more balanced approach, man. We do. Frankie Diaz, 2 blockbuster trades, one for Matt Chapman, and one for Chapman and Olsen, and the other for it's going to cost a lot of that farm, but I would sign up for that. I would, dude. If you can get Chapman and Olsen and a Brian Reynolds, or Chapman and Olsen and a Keita Marte, oh my God, get it, all over that, baby, all over that. It's going to cost them a boatload. I hope it doesn't cost them Volpe, but it might. That's a gigantic haul, but they still have to address pitching no matter what. But those are monster trades. Monster trades. Oh, Marcel, I appreciate you. Much love for Marcel. Let's give a dono hype for Marcel here, man. What do you say? I agree with your argument on getting 2 frontline starting pitchers to back up Cole. I would keep Luis Severino and Domingo Germán in the bullpen, as would I. I think I've mentioned that as well, so I'm glad we're on the same page there. Germán could be a real bullpen weapon. Both of them. Marcel, thank you so much for the donor. I appreciate that, brother. I really do. Herman and Sevy would deepen the bullpen significantly so that you're not always having to gas out. Chad Green was gassed by the end of the year. They used him so much in the first half of the season. I'm not surprised he's gassed. Loizaga wasn't sharp today either. Looks like he was gassed a little bit too. Like using them a lot in the beginning of the year. I'm glad Clay Holmes is here now. He took some of that brunt, so I would love to have him for a whole season next year. But guys like that who can throw multiple innings take the burden off some of those other guys, like these one inning dudes. And um, I would have both of them in the bullpen, Marcel, and I would add two starters no matter what. No matter what, I'm adding two starters. You know. But Marcel, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Poor guy. Yeah, man. Oh, Jesus, Vincent. Vincent Monaka, too. Thank you again for this very generous donor. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. What were you asking? You're saying here, thanks for your content. You're welcome, and thank you for your support. Cashman has had his time. Look forward to next year. Would love if we could get some contact hitters next year and some strong pitchers. 1,000%. I'm with you 1,000% here, Vincent. Thank you for that very generous donor. I really appreciate you guys, man. You are the best. I'm going to do a lot of content on this stuff this offseason. You know, what I think they should do, what would I do if I were the GM, what I think they will do. I'm trying to put together a collaboration of a couple of content guys, and we'll do something together while we all talk about our offseason predictions and see what we can get done and see how everybody is either on the same page or thinking a little bit differently, where we get a bigger collaboration of perspectives from the Yankee family. So I'm working on that. I plan on having that too. Hunter, man, thank you so much again for the donut, man. I appreciate you. Boone needs to be fired. I think a lot of people feel that way right now. A lot of suspect moves. Hunter, who would you replace him with? Is everybody of the opinion that he should be replaced with Buck Showalter? Does anybody have any other ideas on who? Harrison Bader would be nice. Look out for O'Neill too from St. Louis Cardinals. It'd be a nice acquisition in a trade. Young, fast, dynamic center fielder. Cashman is signed with the team now for one more year. Yeah, yeah, Daly's right too. I think he's got another year. So, the game to be the game, 163, not the playoffs. I agree too, Fats. 100%, man. Yeah. Gallows got one more year, and Texas is paying it. So unless the Yankees trade him, he's probably going to stay here. Be my guess. I would like to see how he does with a full year, but we'll see. But I get that frustration too. Ohtani or Vlad for MVP. Personally, I'm going with Ohtani because he carried the team when Trout was out for 100 games, and and Vlad is just surrounded by a much deeper lineup this year. So, but I see. Ohtani did say that he's open to a long-term contract now with the Angels, so I would look for something like that. And I would, if I were Toronto, I would lock up Vlad now, yesterday. And if I was the Nationals, I would lock up Soto yesterday. Lock their asses up now, long-term, so you have them. But I'm going with Ohtani, but a very, very close. Just like I'm going with Robbie Ray, very, very close over Cole for the Cy Young. But if Cole wins, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be disappointed, but I wouldn't be surprised either, because he has some of his metrics are better than Ray's, but Ray's ERA is significantly lower. But Cole was the American League leader in wins as well. What do you think how do I think it was managed? I can't really put too much on Boone tonight, but there's a lot of things to blame him for the season. Cole didn't come through. The offense didn't come through. Neither one of them came through. So, and that's to me where my biggest frustration. That's my biggest frustration. And again, he can only do so much, Boone, but I get everybody's feeling on why he should be gone. And Tim's, if anybody's going to go, I think Tim should go first. Or Tim's, whatever. He should go before Boone. Yeah. But by the way, Vincent, and again, I want to thank you again. But contact hitters, I would be looking for Brian Reynolds or Ketel Marte would be my first two picks, Vincent, for contact hitters for this team. My first two guys I would be targeting in on. So those would be my guys. But pitching and contact hitters has to be prioritized, no doubt about it. Otani can be a Yank one day. he could be. I just hope it's not when he's 30 or 32. Like, it would be nice much sooner. So, Parker, thank you, man. Thanks for the sub. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. And you guys, if any of you guys haven't subbed yet, please do so. And hit the notification so you know when I put out stuff. I mean, um, not necessarily I'm super high on Gallo. We haven't, well, mainly because I think Allen is his trade value is not an all-time high right now. He had a solid year, but there are some things that I think he would have more value if he had a strong first half of next year, and then they moved him at the deadline. If they give him a qualifying offer and move him, they'll just get a compensatory pick. I think he can, would have start here with the Yankees with that lineup and potentially some improved depth. I think his trade value would be higher at the trading deadline in July than there is right now. That's the only reason why. But again, he's got 38 home runs. They're not paying his salary. So unless you have a clear upgrade to replace him, it doesn't make sense to move him. And I say the same thing about Odor. Unless you have a clear upgrade to replace him with, you don't move him because you're not paying his salary. Texas is paying both of their salaries. They're paying like $30 million for Gallo and Odor combined. The Yankees are paying not even $1 million for them. So, and that's 55 home runs combined between the two. You have to be able to replace that. So that's my logic behind it. But I get what you're saying. Buck. Yeah, I mean, Buck is intriguing. Him to San Diego is intriguing too. But him into New York, I mean, if he comes here, I wouldn't be disappointed. I think it's a little late for him, but I think I wouldn't be disappointed. If he can write things out, totally fine. If Paul O'Neill had an interest in managing, I would interview him. That fire here would be fantastic. Boston will be a better team next year. They're gonna invest this offseason, and we know this. And they have some good-looking top-level prospects that are close too. So Jeter Downs and a couple other folks. So, and I'm confident Cole will have a strong season next year as well. But he needs to recover and get healthy. No doubt about it. He does. Cody Bellinger and Correa. Is Bellinger available? I know Corey Seager's available. Bellinger had a super down year, so if you can get him on the low, intriguing. I would take Ketel Marte or Brian Reynolds over Bellinger, but I see the appetite for Correa. I mean, I really do, because he backs up. He's got the stink of that cheating scandal, but he backs up his talk with some legit play. And he's a clutch hitter. He's a legitimate superstar, but he's going to cost probably $250 million. So, and I would not get him and ignore pitching. I think he'd be probably one of the last guys to go. I would get a pitcher right off the bat if I could, and then build from there if I were the GM. But we're going to see how this offseason plays. Again, I think it's going to be slow until they figure out what happens during the CBA. So that's going to affect finances and other things from all these teams. So, but that's, trade. Wait, somebody just said here. Glaber should be, it would be nice. Seager, Reynolds, and Rizzo. Seager and Reynolds, oh my God. Both of them would be fantastic. Trying to keep up with you guys. I'm getting a lot of good feedback and some good comments here. What do I think would be a good deal for Brian Reynolds and Marte? Marte, it's going to get Florial, Luis Medina, Oswald Peraza, and another probably top 10 prospect for Marte. It's going to probably cost a little bit more for Brian Reynolds, only because he has one more year of team control. He's a free agent in 2026. Marte is in 2025. So, but I think it's going to cost at least that much. At least. It's going to cost a boatload for them. I wouldn't be surprised, John, if they fire Boone. I really wouldn't. Honestly, I would not. Move Gallo if they can. If somebody's willing to take him and pay, yeah. That salary's not going to be on the Yankees' hands either way, so I'm cool with that. Over 100, yeah, daily. This is by far the most watched live stream today. So I'm glad, and I think a lot of folks are kind of fired up right now after the game. Just our emotions are high, our opinions are high, so and rightfully so. So we're giving some good feedback to each other here. So I appreciate everybody being on here. And if you haven't hit that like button, please do so. It's really helpful. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right too, Ronnie. Cole does get hit hard in Fenway. There's no doubt about that. I forgot to use the sticky. Trade for Hader, I would consider that. My fear is, I fear, and I mentioned this the other day. I fear Toronto's going to trade for him. So I look out for that. Look out for that. Oh, two more donos, guys. You're the best. Thank you. I love you guys. James Leahy. What's James Leahy saying? Some love, some dono love for James Leahy. I feel like Hal doesn't even care. I feel like Hal's just trying to protect profits any way possible. So I'm with you, right? I'm with you on that, man. Cashman needs to change his philosophy of home run or bust. Agreed, 100%. Fire and Boone. I'm 50-50 right now. I just want to make sure. If Buck's available, then I would consider it. Other than that, they need a couple more candidates. Thames and Nevin, deuces to both of them. Agree with you there, James. I want to make sure that they have the right candidates to replace Boone with. That's my number one concern. Who would you replace him with, James? And thank you again for the donor. And thank you too. Who we got here? The Hook Mike. You're the man too. I appreciate you too. Rizzo wants out of New York. If he does, I wouldn't be surprised, and I won't be surprised if he goes to Boston. I look out for Boston. He might be their big investment this offseason. And I just hope that he doesn't come back to hurt the Yankees. I really don't. That's my fear too. Yeah, it's Daryl. I mean, salaries are exorbitant. They're crazy. There's no cap in baseball. So this is where I wish. This is where I wish it would be like the NBA, where they cap it at 4 years at a ridiculous number, but at least you're capped at 4 years. None of these. Yes, don't know hype for all of you, man. I love all you guys. I appreciate you for all the support, man. I would cap it at 4 years, just like the NBA. I don't care if it's 50 million a year, but you cap it there so that you're not hamstrung for 10 years or 14 years, and they can go back and go out and get another ridiculous 4 year deal. So I think that's a great idea what they did in the NBA. I think it's genius. Dono hype too for Bob, man. Bob Tremblay. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you too, man. Thank you so much. All of you, man. I appreciate all your support. You guys have been fantastic, man. And please stay with me this offseason. I'm gonna take you through the playoffs, and we're gonna start putting together our offseason Yankee plan. So Joe Espada, Astros bench coach, he's an intriguing possibility too, Hunter. A very intriguing possibility. Trade Clint, Andujar, Voigt, Hicks, Britton. Yeah, I mean, I would move a lot of those guys. I would. Vincent, again, thank you so much. Again, another dono hype of Vincent. Dono hype and dono love. Okay. Come on, guys. Cole was our workhorse this year. He was our workhorse. He carried the rotation when they couldn't carry themselves. And that's one reason I think he's gassed. And again, I'm not underestimating the effect of COVID. It beats people up differently. And it takes your stamina. And I never think he fully recovered. And getting that hamstring thing didn't help either. But he saved the team when he needed it. So, and I can be as critical of a lot of other guys too. But he was aces when we sucked. And I think a combination of him being gas, which is why I think a co-ace is needed. He's better with a co-ace. Okay, that's what I do. And again, they need to give him a lead. I don't think he pitches as well. He clearly doesn't pitch as well when they don't have a lead. When they give him a lead early on, he pitches 10 times better. And we need more consistent offense for that. Madden would be fantastic. He's unfortunately managing the Angels right now, so they'd have to trade him. But dono hype and dono love for all of you. You're the best. Ronnie, the Yankees definitely need to change their approach. They need more versatility, more athleticism, more. They need to watch this game because Boston put on a damn clinic. They schooled the Yankees on how to win an important game. They did everything that the Yankees did not do. Everything. Catching, I would go after Wilson Contreras, TNC from the Cubs. I try to trade for him. He's like the only guy. Him and Kyle Hendricks, the only guys they didn't trade on that team. So I would go after Contreras. He's got one more year. Garrett Cole, yeah, I mean Lenny, dude, at $324 million, it's a ridiculous number. But some pitchers are going to cost more pretty soon, and some hitters are going to cost. I mean, you're probably looking at a $400 million deal for Guerrero, and maybe Soto too. The salaries are just going to be through the roof, man. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Bochy is intriguing. Bochy's definitely intriguing. Get rid of all these lingering players. Michael agree. We need better depth. I mean, Clint, Andujar on the roster, lingering, man. It's just all these unproductive roster spots, and we need much more productivity. Glaber and Frazier for a pitcher. intriguing. If it's possible, if somebody would take it and give it a decent pitcher in return, I would do it. Sheepdog, love you too, man. No, I'm not underestimating. Cole sucked today, Sheepdog, but he carried the team in the rotation a lot this year. So as much as I say he sucked, I got to give him credit on the flip side too. So just like Chapman he sucked for a portion of the year and then he came back. So I give Chapman as well. Judge sucked for a portion of the year, and then I give Judge love. Stanton sucked for a portion of the year. I got to give them love. So it's not only Cole. I'm going both ways with all these guys on the team. So he carried the rotation just like Judge and Stanton carried this offense. So that's my position. So um but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, man. I get it. Next season, DJ at first, DJ at third, Stanton left field, Judge right. Start from there. You're probably going to have to, yeah, and to fill the other positions with new. Yeah, I mean, we definitely need new blood this offseason, Daryl. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Would I be surprised if they moved Gallo and Odor? No. It's probably easier at this point, but but I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him either, only because of the low hit to the salary cap. Yeah, Soto and Vlad. I think they're going to be close to $500 million daily, 100%. 100%. I think they'll be locked up before they're 25 or 26. They're going to get it early, just like Tatis got it. So we need we need lefties. We need balance. We need another switch hitter. They better play Greg Allen next year because he has value. I'm still annoyed at why they didn't play him today. He could have come in handy, but this is the type of frustrating Yankee logic that drives me and so many of us crazy. Yeah, Antonio. Yeah, they found a lot of these 200 hitters and potential big boppers. But again, it's home run or strikeout, home run or strikeout. And at least Stanton, he got up to like 275. He was low, but he started hitting singles and doubles. And when he's hot, he's unstoppable. So his average was more indicative of his, career. Voided first, it's possible, but my fear is that it says he played his last game as a Yankee. That's my fear. But if he's back, I don't think Rizzo's back. If Rizzo's back, I don't think Voigt's back. I think it's one or the other. Peter, we need Rodon. If we can get Rodon and Ray, it's going to cost money, but that's where I'd be investing the money. Epstein would be phenomenal, but he's a big time now, and he's a big time executive at Major League Baseball. So I don't know if he would take this job unless they pay him a ton, a ton. So I would love Epstein here because I think he could do some good stuff. Bean would probably do some good things here too. I know the Mets have asked for permission to reach out to Epstein and Bean. So look out, keep your eye on that one. Cole, yes, agreed, Daly. Cole sucked, but we wouldn't be here without him. Exactly. Just like Judge, just like Stanton. Those three carried the team this year. Where would I send Haney? To Guam. Guam. Yeah. Yeah, Voigt's not a great defender, but that's something that has to be considered. If you have a backup, the backup's got to have a strong glove. And Heaney is a free agent, but I would still send him away anyway, Daly. But yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, Heaney is a free agent. So, my guess is if he gets an opportunity, I said this the other day, it'll be with the Orioles or the Marlins or the Pirates. The three, like crummy teams. Maybe even the Tigers, but those would be the four teams, I would say. But defense is why the Yankees lost, and lack of hitting is why the Yankees lost. Lack of everything. Our pitchers didn't come through. Our hitters didn't come through. It's just a collective disaster. It really was a collective disaster. Very just heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Frankly, I would not be surprised at the Mets. I don't think Cohen is done. I think he made his big expenditures this year. I think he's going to make a few more big moves, and I do. And I think the Mets are going to be aggressive. I think the Phillies are going to be aggressive. I think the Red Sox, pretty much. I think the Blue Jays, because a lot of these teams have unfinished business. So, and I think they're all going to be aggressive. Greg Allen, please. Yes, Deborah. Yes. Yes, Deborah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Well, exactly, Alan. Too. He carried a team that had most of their broken down pitch. Yeah, it's just yeah. I mean, that's why I keep saying the. I mean, Nestor Cortez played way beyond expectations. I mean, if he did that next year, I'd be ecstatic. And he's got 4 more years of team control. Jordan Montgomery took a step in the right direction, so he's a more reliable starter. Like I said, I'm still I worry about Severino in the rotation and getting injured again. That's why I'm thinking him in the bullpen would be the best idea. And 2 reliable starters this offseason to get depth. Because we don't know what the hell Davey Garcia will like, if he's ever going to come back. He was the hype, and then he's like, can't even get AA guys out. So, like, it's just, base running is terrible, Michael. 100%. That's why we need, why didn't we see Tyler Wade? Why didn't we see Greg Allen, the 2 best base runners? Neither one of them had any action. What the That's what I mean. It's just, it's ridiculous. And we need a more balanced approach. Yeah, exactly. We can't win with 3 guys. This isn't the NBA. Vincent, again, you're the best. Thank you again. Can't stress enough how much I love you guys, man. What's Vincent saying? Can we maybe get a legit chance with some of our farm system youth? Greg Allen was doing well when we were on that win streak. I think we can, Vincent. I do. And more Dono hype and Dono love for Vincent, man. I think Oswald Peraza will be the first one to be called up. There's a couple of other position players, Everson Pereira, and a few others that have a shot of being called up. I wouldn't rush Volpe. If he's ready to be called up, you call him up. But those guys are clearly probably the next guys in line. I would still be protecting Luis Hill, letting him continue to develop. That way you can move, if you're going to put him in a rotation, have Tyone at the 4, have Hill at the 5, or a 4, 5, and 6, or let these guys develop over time. He needs more seasoning, so I don't want to throw him to the wolves just yet. I think that's what happened with Davey, and he just crumbled. He couldn't hack it. So that's the thing here. Travis, but thank you, Vincent, again, man. I can't thank you enough. Kershaw doing well. Yeah, I mean, this was like his first. Well, that's a good point too. Short season, Travis, and Kershaw carried that Dodger rotation for like almost a decade. So I'm not surprised if he was gassed towards the end of the year and didn't pitch well in the postseason either. So it could have been, that. But he came through last. That's a great point, Travis. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm hoping that the same thing happens with Cole. But again, look at the depth that they added this season to the rotation. They added Scherzer, right? They added freaking Trevor Bauer, even though Bauer's out now, but they added guys. And Julio Urias, he's won 20 games this year, that young kid. So they have more depth in that rotation around Kershaw, so he's not having to shoulder so much of the load. So, I mean, and Scherzer's, he's the ace on the team now. So him and Urias, I like Kershaw's probably the 3 now. Maybe the 4 with Walker Buehler. So, but that's not a bad 3 or 4 to have. But yeah, that's what I mean. I'm hoping that they give more depth so that Cole isn't having to shoulder the load so much. I hope you're right, Daly. I hope that they get that Davey back on track. He was a good-looking prospect, and if it's a delivery and mechanics thing, I hope that they get it right. I really do. It's a good point. Ketel Marte would be phenomenal. Would be absolutely phenomenal. I don't know why. Yeah, Alan. I don't know why the hell Wade was in the doghouse. I have no idea. It was phenomenal in the second half of the season. I don't get it. He's the best base runner on the team. What the hell are you sitting him for? And then you had like Allen. You don't use the 2 best base runners. They're sitting on the bench, sitting on the, and we're down by 4 runs. You need to score runs. Get these dudes on base. But no, I don't understand. Haniger's an intriguing possibility. I'd be surprised if they trade Hicks because Cashman's made it clear that he wants him to start next year. Oswaldo Cabrera as well. Alan, Mike, I would be surprised if they moved Hicks, but at least until he establishes he's healthy. Oswaldo Cabrera is another one. Cabrera, Peraza, like those guys are probably the most immediate call-up guys. Underrated, solid players, and we need guys that can just do. We don't need to be Ozzie Smith or Omar Vizquel. We just need reliable guys there, and who can get on base on occasion, hit the ball for contact. I mean, that's what most of these minor leaguers do anyway. So, I mean, we need this type of stuff and some young blood, man. This is the type of young blood I'm talking about, Vincent. And the type of young blood that they need. So, and they need more of it. They need definitely more. Team needs to show some hunger. It can't only be Stanton carrying, and or Judge and Coy. It's got to be more than that. Um, I could see Daryl Peraza if he's doing well, throw him in the fire. I think Volpe, one way or another, is going to start the year in AAA, unless he goes on a tear. But my guess is they're going to be a little bit more protective of him. I think Volpe's either late 2022 or early 23, and then obviously following him would be the Martian, Jason Dominguez. But I don't see him until 23 or 24. He's only 18, so he has a lot of development to go. And Volpe's only 20, so I would do it right with them, because those are probably our most valuable assets. We have Trey Sweeney, some of these other high draft picks recently, so they have a lot of guys. If Andujar stays, he should get an opportunity. Antonio, I like Andujar, but I think the Yankees just blew their opportunities with him and Clint Frazier. Injuries and just not playing them properly. Frazier was on fire last year too, and they just shit the bed with him and Andujar, in my opinion. So they should have been playing even before that. But 30, 100 over Gio, yeah. Gio, I mean, Gio should be the shortstop until they decide what they're going to do at shortstop. So, and obviously they get a Correa, you move Gio. Obviously he's better than Gio. I mean, or Seager, better than Gio. Like you get one Simeon. Somebody mentioned Simeon earlier, better than Gio. So, and but they have to decide what they're going to do. Is it Gio at short or one of these free agent guys? And then at some point, do you move Torres and then you play Oswald Peraza at second until Volpe's ready? Like they have options, so they have to just be really smart this offseason, man. Really smart. Yeah, and 13-year-old and lose. Yeah, this is the streakiness of the team, and they got cold at the wrong time, and Boston's hot now. So I could see Boston beating Tampa. I could. They look really, really good. But if Tampa wins that series, I could see them going to the World Series. I could see the winner of this particular series, Tampa Boston, going to the World Series. So that's me, my American pick. I think either one of them are going to run through Boston and or Houston. One of those teams. That's my guess. American League East is going to be a representative in the World Series. Yeah, Gallo wasn't great with the Yankees. I mean, but he had some big home runs, but clutch would have been better. But it is what it is. And now, I mean, yeah, I'm with a lot of you folks. Moving Hicks is probably a good idea. But again, if he establishes being healthy, then his contract will look like a bargain. It'll be easier to move him, I think. And I think they could move him in offseason. If he shows that he's healthy and he's productive, they could move him in the spring training. It has happened before. But I mean, maybe he plays winter ball. I don't know. But I think I'd like for him to be moved, but I just fear that it won't happen until then. Syndergaard. Well, Syndergaard's going to be a free agent now. Well, yeah, there was a proposal. I remember Syndergaard for Andujar at that point, and I think the Yankees turned it down. And and there was a trade this year, Gleyber Torres for Luis Castillo from the Reds. The Yankees turned that one down too. So that's the thing. But I agree, Bob Hicks is probably going to get hurt again. Unfortunately, too many injuries, man. They got to get young, athletic, healthier. They need it, man. But we need contact hitters, man. All you folks would make great points on this, man. Really do. Yeah, exactly, Daly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if he does well, if he establishes that he's healthy, he's a switch hitter, he's got value, it makes his contract look more palatable, because $10 million a year versus 20 from some of these other outfielders, then it makes it look more reasonable and easier to move in a trade. But I do agree too, Thomas, that a whole entire season in pinstripes for Gallo. He needs to start a year here. I think it'll be different. And again, if he has a good first half, you can move him in a trade. So his value will be twice as high. That's my guess. But Torres, I can see moved. Voigt, I can see moved. There's a couple other folks I can see moved, but we got some serious decisions to make. And I tell you what, folks, I'm going to put this offseason, we'll do a live stream. So get your offseason plan ready. If you want to do this, if you want to participate, get your offseason plan. We'll do one on what do we think the Yankees should do.
Okay. And then we'll do another live stream on our predictions. What do we think they will do? And you can compare it to what you think they should do. You guys want to do that? We can do a live stream just on that. We can put together our plan together. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea. If you'd be up for it, because that would be a lot of fun. We could put together our mock off season, man. I think it would be a boatload of fun. So I'm in if you're in. So I'm gonna do it, one way or another. But all right, good. You're down. Sure. All right. Let's get it. Let's do this. It'll be after the World Series is over. We'll do stuff like that. We'll do it like immediately after the World Series, so we can jump on our off-season plan immediately, and see from there. And the only reason why is I want to see if somebody gets hurt during the World Series or whatever. I want to make sure everybody's healthy, and needs might change or whatever based on performance. So we'll do that. And then once the World Series is over, we'll get that first week after the World Series. We'll do these videos. So we got that one. You think he smashed my wife? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Gallo starts hot and he gets traded, yeah, I could see it. He's power and low average. He reminds me of Adam Dunn. Adam Dunn used to hit 190, but he'd have 40 home runs every year. And he had 450 career home runs or something like that. And he was but he averaged like 190. Taz Bolgato, thank you. Some Dono hype and Dono love for Taz, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. What were you saying here? You want to first thank me. You've been loyal and been here. I appreciate your loyalty, and thank you for your loyalty and support, Taz. God bless you too, man. We did not. You're 100% right. We didn't come to win. Overconfident, not using the field, and Boston showed up to win. The Yankees for life, no matter, no doubt about it, man. They did exactly what we needed to do to them. We needed to jump on their starters early. They jumped on us early, and they took the air out of our wings. And we'll do a live stream, Daily Dose. We'll do a live stream. We'll rock it just like this. But back to you, Taz. They took the wind right out of our sails, man, and they beat us at what we needed to do. Jumped on our pitchers. They did all the little things, move guys over, base hits, hit and runs, like exactly what we needed to do to them. They did to us in their home. So and once they did that to us, they had all the momentum, and the crowd was just right behind them. And it was just, it just reminds me of a feisty Yankee Stadium. It was the same thing there, and they owned us tonight, man. They owned us. They owned Cole. They owned our lineup. So Rizzo and Stanton was the offense tonight. So I thank both of them. Yeah, Adam Dunn. Yeah, 237's nothing to brag about, Travis. But I mean, if you look at his home run and look at some of the years where he had like in mid 40s or close to 50 home runs, he batted like 190. So, but yeah, I see what you're saying. But it's better than 207. It's much better than that. But Taz, thank you again. And some Dono love and Dono hype for Taz, man. You're the best. But you're absolutely right. They did not come to win today. They just didn't have it, man. They didn't have it. And I wish this game was in Yankee Stadium. I think it could have made a difference, but it is what it is. Jordan, I'll be live all off season. So I appreciate you, man. All off season, I'll be live. We'll be doing a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to keep engaged. We're going to be the GMs of the Yankees, and we'll do this together. We'll put together our off season plan. So, 200 count. Yeah, well, daily. We just do individual things at a time. You say trade number 1, blah blah. You put it together, or trade number 2, blah blah blah. Free agent signing number 1, and let that be your comments. Even if you have 20 comments in a row and they're less than 200 characters, I'm all about it, man. That way, it'll make it easier to do. So it's a good thing that you brought up 200 character max, so that everybody else knows too. So we can do it that way if that's all right with you, Daly. Yeah, man, that's what I mean, Taz. If the Yankees won a few more games early this year, we'd have had home field, and we didn't have it. Like that's the Yankees shot themselves in the foot way too many times this season. And they need to learn from that. And we definitely need more contact hitters. Notifications are on. Good, Taz. Good. Yeah, put your notifications on, everybody, if you haven't put it on yet. And if you haven't subbed, make sure you subscribe so you know exactly when I'm going to do these live streams, so that we can do our off-season plan. Again, I'm going to do one on what do we think the Yankees, like if we were the GM, what would we do? And then the next live stream will be our off-season predictions for this off-season. And then I'm going to be doing my own Major League Baseball top, free agent predictions. I'm going to be doing winter meetings predictions. I'm going to be doing trade predictions this offseason, trades that should happen. And I have a whole bunch of stuff I'm working on. So I got a lot of good content for us to talk about and have some fun with. So this is one of my favorite types of season because we could put together our mad scientist hat and jacket. So yeah. And Daryl, it didn't even matter they didn't have JD Martinez. Didn't matter. They kicked our ass. Kicked our ass. And Cora definitely outperformed Boone, Daryl. 100%. 100%. Boone outperformed them last week. Cora got us today. Tanaka would have been coming handy this year. He would have. But I would take Robbie Ray and Rodon over Tanaka at this point. But yeah, the CBA, Jordan, is going to be an issue. It's just going to slow down free agency because the current CBA expires December 2nd. So the next one after that, so things aren't going to really happen until then. But I think there'll be some moves and stuff like that, some obvious things. But like the big fish, I don't think any of them or most of them are going to move until the CBAs decide. And that's generally in line with the winter meetings anyway. The winter meetings is generally the second week in December. So that's when the big fish start to move. So it's not going to be that much of a difference. But that said, I don't think the big action is going to be starting until, probably mid-December anyway. But it would still be good. I'm still looking forward to a lot of stuff. So help us. We don't know yet, Miguel. We don't know what's going to happen. What changes are going to happen with the CBA. So, and I'll do a breakdown of what happens in the CDA. I'll do a video so we know exactly, what happened and how it might benefit us, how it might hurt us, and so on. I'll put together a video that specifically pertains to the CBA so that we're all on. We have a better idea on what it's like. Secretly got Tommy John, but he needed it. Yeah, he needed it with the Yankees. He had that partial UCL tear and never got it. So thankfully he stayed healthy. And Don, yeah, Boston is our daddy this year. That's for sure. Yep. Get Robbie Ray or Marcus Stroman. Both of them. Both of them would be nice. Colbert. Both of them. Yeah, look, Castro's going to be back from his ACL. Some of these other guys, Ambergy, like a lot of young dynamic players. Castro, Allen, we have a lot more options, which is why I think it makes more sense to move on from Gardner and Aaron Hicks. So that's just my opinion. But yeah, it's going to be like Pandora's box, the new CPA. It's just, I think there's going to be some surprises, some not so surprising things. It's rule changes and all different types of stuff. So I'm really curious to see, but we'll definitely do we'll do a video on that so we can all be on the same page with it. So it'll just help us put together, a better plan this offseason too. That's what I think, but I think Hal doesn't let Boone. I think Hal's, kind of restraining Boone a little bit, and so is Cashman. I don't know what the hell is going on, honestly, but I think that, I don't know. Something was just suspect with the Yankee, with Boone's managing this year. He had good stretches and he had bad stretches. And again, I want to keep in mind when the Yankees were doing really well, win 100 games, he didn't get much of the credit for that. When when they crashed this year, he's getting a lot of the blame. So I want to give him credit where it's due. I want to give him criticism where it's due. And that not only goes for him, that goes for the players too. So that's what I think is fair. But I get the the wanting to move on from Boone. I totally get it. Totally get it. Yeah, Gallo. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with Gallo too. If they find a taker, they can move him. Ray and Stroman will be a nice pair, and Cashman does love Hicks, which is why I don't think he'll get rid of him unless there's a deal he can't pass on. So, but yeah, but I think we have to move on from Gardner and Hicks. I do. I'm 100% certain on that. I really do. And you go with like a Greg Allen and Ambergy or LeCastro and some of those guys. LeCastro was the fastest player in the major leagues before he hurt his ACL. So we have another quick base runner, and I'm glad you brought him up. So, fun. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, that's true. I think they're hamstringing. I think they've hamstrung Boone quite a bit. So I think they will be aggressive. I agree with you there, Michael. Ross, I think they will go after Rodon. I'm not sure they'll get him. I would rather go after Robbie Ray and take him away from Toronto since they're a division rival. I think that would be a better play for the Yankees. And if he wins the Cy Young, it would be nice to have the 1-2 and the Cy Young guy paired on the same team. But spark plugs, yes. Players with good contact. Velocity, yes. I mean, which is why I'm a proponent of keeping Odor, because he's a spark plug. He has this energy that not a lot of the other guys have. And it's clear. It's clear. Whatever he produces at the plate is what he produces. But he's been a great kind of a chemistry addition to this team. So this possible, Travis. I mean, break the bank. I can see them signing 2 or 3 premier free agents, just like they did in 2009. 3 or 4, I think it would be a stretch, but would I be disappointed? Hell no. I would love it either way, but 2 or 3 would be phenomenal. It really would. But Gardy, I don't think he's going to be coaching just yet. Just yet, I don't think so. Garner doesn't have an arm at all. Got the worst arm for the outfield for the Yankees. But yeah, I got to get going too, guys. It's getting late, but I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you so much for the donos. You are the best. Let's continue this, okay? I'll be doing live streams, okay? And I'm still going to get us involved in the Yankees. I'll be putting out videos during the day as well so that we can all stay engaged, but we're not done. Okay, we are just getting started. The off season's here now. We're going to put together our plan, so be on the lookout. And again, if you haven't put on the notifications, do that so you know when they come out. There's still going to be a couple per week at the minimum. And then obviously, most days I'll be putting out my regular videos too. So but thank you all for coming on tonight. Great. This is the best video, the best live stream we've had. So I appreciate all your insights, and let's get it going here. Let's put together a championship team this offseason. So good night, everybody. Go Yankees.